Alright, against the odds time, playing some Mindstone Tribal in Modern. Actually, it's Skred Red. It just feels like Mindstone Tribal. Swamp for our opponent. I mean, I guess we can maybe... Well, there goes something. Probably take Relic, because we have so many Mind Stones. Doesn't seem like... I hope, if they do take a Mind Stone, I hope they take this 10th edition one, because Weatherlight looks cooler. Alright, they take Relic. Opponent passes. Well, Snow-Covered Mountain, go. Man, all the mismatches. This could be 8-rack, maybe? Okay, now they take a Mind Stone. Yes, they took the mismatch one. Small victories. Oh, it's Jund. Alright. Well, Snow-Covered Mountain and Mind Stone. Storm Breath isn't that great in this matchup because they can just kill it. It's better against decks that are relying on Path as a removal. But I mean, we'll probably still run it out there. Bloodstained Mire, cracked. Goligan's Command hits our Mind Stone, makes us discard a Snow-Covered Mountain, I guess. So let's Mind Stone, Scrying Sheets, pass the turn. Our opponent has a lot of discard in this hand. Abrupt Decays our Mind Stone. Well, they got a Tarmogoyf and Ooze. Well, Ooze isn't that scary yet. Alright, Snow-Covered Mountain, go. Our opponent's down to 1 card. The problem is they're getting close to being able to attack with Raging Ravine. And it gets out of bolt range very quickly with just 1 attack. Ooze doesn't do much because there's no creatures to exile. Alright, another Raging Ravine. So we're going to want to draw removal. I would not be surprised if our opponent was holding a Terminate type spell in hand. I guess it could be another Goligan's Command. Also could be land. Scrying Sheets. Ooh, Blood Moon. Oh, what if it's Abrupt Decay? They threw that Abrupt Decay away pretty quickly. That's a 1 card that would be super bad here. So I think what we're going to do is Snow-Covered Mountain. So if we play Storm Breath, it gives us a blocker. If they have a Terminate, they kill it, then they fire up Raging Ravine, then we Blood Moon to kind of lock our opponent, and we're at, what, 12? And we just have to deal with a Scavenging Ooze that'll be a 3/3. The downside of that is if it's Goligan's Command, they would be able to make us discard Blood Moon, and then we lose to Raging Ravine. We could just pass. That gives us protection against Goligan's Command. They've already used 2 Inquisitions, but they know about the Storm Breath, so I would assume they would think it was suspicious if we passed. But I think we're going to pass. Let's pass, activate Scrying Sheets. What we want to have happen here is our opponent to be like, whoa, free damage with Raging Ravine. I should probably fire that up. Alright, they're just going to exile random stuff from our graveyard. I should fire that up and get in some damage, and then they'll be tapped out if they have Abrupt Decay for our Blood Moon. Because it would be easy, if they had Abrupt Decay, it would be easy for them to just float mana in response to Blood Moon and then kill it. And Blood Moon gets rid of both of these Raging Ravines. Alright, looks like that plan is not going to work. Our opponent declines to fire up Raging Ravine. Plays a Dark Confidant. Well, that actually works as well. We are going to need removal, though. Scrying Sheets gets us a Snow-Covered Mountain. Untap. Ooh, there we go. That's exactly what we wanted here. So now we Snow-Covered Mountain and Blood Moon. They don't have Abrupt Decay mana. Follow that up by Volcanic Fallout to get rid of both creatures. And pass the turn. And now hopefully we can just win with Storm Breath. Our opponent still has Terminate mana, but they shouldn't be able to get rid of Blood Moon now. Alright, Thoughtseize is going to take Storm Breath. So now we just want to draw a threat. Planeswalker, creature. We can cast any threat we draw. We have enough mana. So we just want to draw some threat, not answers. Also, not really snow-covered mountains. Alright, pass turn. Opponent. They don't have green mana, so we're not going to get Tarmogoyfed. There's a Storm Breath. So that counts as a threat. Still gets hit by Terminate or Dismember, but better than drawing a land or like a Bolt or something. There's the Terminate. Yeah, we had a feeling that they had a Terminate in hand. We're still not in bad shape, though. We kind of have our opponent shut down, thanks to Blood Moon, which is what Blood Moon tends to do. Ooh, there we go. That is exactly what we wanted. Chandra, I think we tick up here because we really don't want to like hit a Worm Coil and not be able to play it. Pass the turn. It should be hard for them to deal with Chandra outside of like double Lightning Bolt. They don't have Maelstrom Pulse mana. They can't play Ooze or Goyf, so their threats are limited. Thoughtseize is a dead draw. Inquisition's a dead draw. And now we could start drawing an extra card each turn. P.N. Karen's a good one. Let's P.N. Karen. That actually gives us a way to close out the game a bit quicker. Lightning Bolt in response takes it down. Well, still, we get the Thopters out of the deal. That's the power of P.N. Karen. Even if they kill it, at least we get 2 1/1s. Dark Confidant for our opponent. Well, all that really does is keeps us from drawing a card with Chandra. Or actually, we could just keep drawing cards. Yeah, this is probably the smartest thing to do. Just kill the Dark Confidant with Chandra. Get in with both Thopters. Put our opponent to 8. Pass the turn. Another mountain in the form of Blackleaf Cliffs. Now we can take up Chandra. Alright, Relic's a redraw. Play the mountain. Get in with both. And I think we're just going to crack Relic right now. We could draw a Worm Coil or something. We draw a Bolt. Bolt is actually fine. That means we have our opponent dead next turn to burn spells in Chandra, even if the Thopters get dealt with somehow. Another land. So let's attack with our Thopters. Put our opponent to 4. Ping with Chandra, and then just Bolt for the win. Whoo! Alright, well, Blood Moon was good in that one. Blood Moon is decent against some builds of Jund. Some builds of Jund are now playing Blood Moon, but another Relic is pretty good. We could bring in actual land destruction, like Molten Rains, to deal with the creature lands. I don't know about our Pyroclasms and so forth. We want some number, but I don't know if we want all of them. It gets Dark Confidant, gets Ooze if we get it immediately. Storm Breath is not that exciting in this matchup. Godo, Wormcoil, and P.N. Karen, and Planeswalkers are all better threats, and Batterskull. It's probably our worst threat in this matchup, because it just dies so easily. Sarkhan is actually better as well, I think, since it's indestructible. Alright, let's go down a Volcanic Fallout and a Pyroclasm, and go up the Molten Rain, and try it like that. Alright, I guess this is fine. Scrying Sheets helps, and we have plenty of early answers to whatever our opponent might play. Bloodstained Mire. And our opponent passes. Well, we have all the answers, which I guess is good. We can kill our opponent's stuff pretty easily. And then hopefully we'll get to Godo in a timely manner. Opponent corrects Bloodstained Mire. Forest for our opponent and our Confidant. Well, let's just Bolt. We want to save our Skreds. Ooh, and a Wormcoil. Well, now we just want mana. We want to save our Skreds and Roasts to deal with Goyfs and also Scavenging Oozes that grow. Untapped Stomping Ground. And a Kitchen Finks. Alright. Another Skred. Well, scrying sheets, goo. Liliana's a little bit scary here. Alright, opponent gets in for 3. Down to 17. Well, if we can get to 6 mana before we get torn up by discard. There's a Goyf. And a Grim Lavamancer. And a Tapland. Well, let's go with Scrying Sheets. Koth on top. Oh, that's not what we wanted. Instant, creature, land, sorcery. Alright, so what we need to do is roast Tarmogoyf. And bolt the Lavamancer. Pass the turn. So we're surviving the threats, but we're not hitting the lands we need to get to our 6 drops. Wormcoil's a big one. If we get down a Wormcoil, it should win us the game. The problem is we're on the clock of our opponent drawing discard, especially Thoughtseize. Inquisition doesn't do it, but... And we know our opponent has those cards, unless they sided out some of them. Another Dark Confidant. Oh no! Well, let's Skred Dark Confidant. I don't think we can afford to chance it with Scrying Sheets. We might be running out of time. Opponent's drawing a lot of threats this game. They likely have creature removal in hand. Also maybe Abrupt Decays for Blood Moons. If they're not playing more creatures and they're not casting discard, it almost has to be creature removal. Which is why Wormcoil's ideal. Really hard to kill with targeted removal. Or it takes like 3 removal spells. The other thing is they could just have bolts. And bolts, we're getting down in life. We're down to 11. One more hit, we're at 8, and then we're down to like 3 bolts and 1 attack. A Scavenging Ooze. Well, I think we got to Skred that right now. Before our opponent gets to untap with it. They can exile something, but it's not going to get out of Skred range. They exile Dark Confidant, but it still dies. So they go back up to 20. Alright, let's pass the turn. Oh, are we really going to just Volcanic fall out the front half of a Kitchen Finks? Feels so bad, but we might have to. Alright, we're down to 9. We get through half of the Finks. It comes back as a 2-1. And we're still not especially close to casting things that matter. Especially when you consider our opponent has... They gotta have removal in hand. Which means Batterskull will just die. I guess we can maybe use... Oh no, they have a... Man, they've drawn an incredible amount of creatures. Well, there's Blood Moon. I'm expecting Abrupt Decay. Alright, they just don't care. They have the mana they need. And we're pretty close to dead. And they got a Dark Confidant going now. Get a Raging Ravine. So they very high number of creatures for a Jund deck. 2 Bobs, a Goyf, an Ooze, a Finks. I guess Pyroclasm would be good. Alright. Well, we'll play it out, but we're likely dead. We just never got a 3rd land. Opponent gets an Abrupt Decay so they can kill our Blood Moon. I guess Pia and Karen gives us a chance to stall out depending on how many removal spells our opponent has. Overgrown Tune tapped as a mountain. We drop to 1. Dead to a bolt. Opponent passes. Oh, we get a land. Slam P and Karen Noir. We'll see. 2 removal spells and we're dead. Does not seem impossible. They have 1 land, I believe. Yeah, they have the Raging Ravine still. So maybe they don't have enough removal. Abrupt Decays, the Blood Moon, turns on Raging Ravine. Dark Confidant gets a Goyf. Oh my goodness. So many threats. Liliana. Alright. Opponent ticks down Liliana. Well, let's sack a Thopter. Wow, do they really not have the removal to kill us? Opponent attacks with the Finks. Well, let's block with the Thopter. Finks down. There's a huge Tarmogoyf. We get a Skred. And that puts us at dead. We just did not get enough lands, unfortunately. Yeah, let's run it back. That was a really awkward draw. Alright, for game 3, we get to be on the play, and, well, Relic of Progenitus is actually pretty relevant against our opponent's deck. Heats on Ooze and Tarmogoyf, so seems pretty reasonable. We don't have any threats, but I don't know if that matters. They would just likely kill our threats anyway. So let's just get down a Relic. Keep the graveyard under control. Pass the turn. Raging Ravine. Well, let's... Snow-covered Mountain, Mind Stone, and Relic. Pass the turn. Verdant Catacombs for our opponent. Now, Scrying Sheets, go. Another Raging Ravine. Blood Moon seems like it could be good. They could have Abrupt Decay. Crag's Catacombs. Gets a Swamp. And Ooze. Well, let's just bolt the Ooze. Attack the graveyard. And then just Scrying Sheets. Ooh, and they tapped out. That's good. Let's Blood Moon. Snow-covered Mountain. And pass the turn. Feels like we're in pretty reasonable shape. Our opponent's out of green mana again. We can start cashing in relics. At least one relic to draw a card. Hopefully find a threat. Opponent goes with Kolaghan's Command. Alright, let's sack relic. Draw a card. And just discard Snow-covered Mountain. Man, Molten Rain on Swamp would be insane. But we will settle for Koth. Koth is also pretty good. Start beating down with our Scrying Sheets. Pass the turn. Probably should have tapped the Mind Stone so we could have Skred available. Seems unlikely that we get punished for it, though. Opponent passes. Let's get rid of the Kolaghan's Command. Keep the graveyard empty in case our opponent gets a green source into Tarmogoyf. Snow-covered Mountain. Well, let's go attacking. If they can kill our mountain, they kill our mountain. Yeah, there's Terminate. Well, Snow-covered Mountain, go. So now we're kind of just hoping we ultimate Koth. And if we ultimate Koth, we're pretty guaranteed to win over the course of a couple turns. Alright, there's the bolt. Gonna keep our Koth from hitting ultimate. And let's get rid of something from the graveyard. Ooh, Sarkhan is very sweet. Sarkhan. Turn it into a dragon. And we might as well keep attacking. I mean, if they keep killing our mountains, they keep killing our mountains. Sarkhan is nice, though, because in Planeswalker form, or in creature form, rather, it is indestructible. And no removal this time. Alright, so we got our opponent dead on board to a mountain and a Sarkhan. Sarkhan, Stormbreath Dragon is often better than Sarkhan, but in this matchup, Sarkhan is actually much better because of the indestructibility. So it can't just get terminated or something. Alright, our opponent's going to stay alive. Lightning Bolt is got to take down Koth. Well, keep going after the graveyard. Might as well keep it low. Take up our Sarkhan. Get in 4/4. play a Pian Karen. This time we're drawing lots of threats, which is nice. And pass the turn. And looking pretty good here. I don't know. Our opponent's going to need like a... I don't even know. I don't think they have the combination of things to get out of this. They need a sweeper for Pian Karen in our tokens, and then they also need a way to deal with Sarkin, which I just don't think they have. Exile the Terminate. Oh, jeez. Alright, well, let's just make a triple Escher. We drew another Koth. Tick up, swing with the crew. And that does it! Whoo! Well, Blood Moon, good against Jund. We'll take it.